All right, well, welcome to today's client support webinar. Today's what, the 16th of March. Great to have everybody here. All right, so this is a webinar where we're going to talk about, I usually talk about one or two key topics, discuss maybe some stocks you're looking at, and of course, answer your questions. So that's the purpose of this. Now, a couple announcements before we get going. Really happy to announce that we have got the new course out on multiple time frame analysis. It's great. All right, I put a lot of effort into it. You're going to love it. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put that link in the comments below as well. So you can see I have my Las Vegas hat, high roller, baby, high roller. All right, so a couple things I do want to talk about today. We have a coaching session open now. I just finished up with one client, so I got one session open. It is a great vehicle for you to get to the next level and work on any issues that may be holding you back. You may have some psychological issues, you may have some trading rule system issues, whatever it is. If you need that kind of personalized instruction, it's great. We have done this for, I guess we've been coaching people now for almost 24 years. Wow. So we got a lot of experience in this area. With the technology today, it doesn't matter if you're living in Australia, South America, we have coaching clients all around. We have one opening. So if you're interested in this, get a hold of Jeannie, put in the questions window you're interested, and you can talk to her more about that. Let me go through some of the admin things I got to go through here today. First of all, I have to tell you about the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. What we want you to know is it's possible to lose some or all your money short-term trading or even investing in the markets. And also, too, we don't know your personal situation, and it's best to check with your money manager, whoever that may be. Maybe it's your financial advisor, maybe it's your accountant or attorney. But the idea is check with somebody who takes care of you financially and knows your personal situation, because we don't know that. So we don't know your net worth, your age, and all that becomes a factor in what kind of a trading and investment you do in the market. So definitely check with them first. You need to use risk capital when trading in the financial markets. This is money you can afford to risk in the markets. And also you need to know how to do risk control. And of course, if you need any help with the risk control aspect or even the trading system approach aspect, we are there for you. All right, now I've written a number of books. I think most people here, I'm looking at the room, we have a lot of people that have bought our stuff already, so it's great to have you here. If you're watching on YouTube or anywhere and don't really know us, one of the recordings, these are books that are available that will give you a really good idea of what we're all about here at TradersCoach.com. I've been trading the markets for over 30 years now, and I've written 4 really best-selling books on Amazon. Traders Money Management System is all about risk control. It's basically putting that seatbelt on before you actually drive the trading car, so to speak. So don't forget that. You got to start with that book, and the rest are different forms of technical analysis. I've also developed a system that leaves no rock unturned. The ART system is the ultimate trading system because we deal with scanning the markets, we deal with entries and exits, risk control, and a whole host of using those tools in a proprietary way with multiple time frame analysis to give you the best possible edge in the market you can have. All right, so if you're interested in that, check that out on our website as well. All right, now, a couple things here before we get in I want to talk about. All right, I want to focus on a few things here that I think are kind of important to realize. One thing is I want to talk about is intellect. All right, what is intellect to you? What is it? Give me some feedback. What is intellect? Somebody that's smart. Okay, I see that in there. Okay, somebody that can figure things out. Okay. Anybody else? Intellect. What's intellect to you? All right, so a whole host of things are coming in now. In the dictionary, it's the power of knowing. Okay, it's the power of knowing. Now, let me ask you a question. When we trade the markets, are they logical? Do we know what's going to go on in the markets? No. 2 plus 2 does not always equal 4 in the markets, does it? So how important is intellect then in trading the financial markets? Good question, right? I don't think trading the market has anything to do with intellect. I think it is the ability to use tools, your trading tools. If you can master your trading tools, you can be successful in the market. Do you need a degree from MIT or Harvard or Yale? No. In fact, I have had coaching with a lot of smart people in terms of academics, and they can't trade for a variety of reasons. They can tell me and quote to me basically the formulas and some of the indicators. They know everything about everything, but they can't trade profitably. So trading profitably is not about intellect. It's about a mastery of tools. Let me ask you a question. Let's go further on mastery of tools. What about musicians, rock stars? Some of those are not the most intellectual people, but boy, can they sure perform, because they've mastered the tools of either their instruments, their voice, whatever. So mastery of your tools is the key. And it has been through the entire development of mankind. Go back to the apes, okay? They weren't considered intellect, but they developed tools and progressed to where we are possibly today. So if you think about this, a mastery of your tools is the key to life in whatever endeavor you're choosing to do. So I want you to remember that. You may not have gone to Yale, you may not have gone to Harvard, but that doesn't mean you can't be successful in trading. Now, if you want to work at Goldman Sachs, if you want to work at one of the Wall Street firms, well, yeah, you need that. That's your entry ticket. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about trading the financial markets. So think about that, okay? Think about that. And the other thing too is focus. Don't mistake focus for intellect either, okay? If you're focused, you can be focused and master your tools, and you don't need a certain amount of higher education to do that. You just need the focus. So focus is really important as well. So that's the key. That's the key to trading success. And that's what we're all about here at TradersCoach.com, is working to help you master the tools. And these tools in front of you right now are the tools that I created over the last 30 plus years trading the market. And if you know how to use them, it can give you an edge. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. All right, so now let's go out of here and take a look at the markets. Let me open it up to questions. One thing I want to say is that, you know, we have remote services that help people if they're having trouble on their computer. This is a service that we offer you. A lot of times people have bought our software. You know, we sell lifetime licenses, and they will have bought our software 5, 10, maybe 15 years ago. And it's not that expensive, and he does a really good job. He'll get you all set up. Now, when you buy software, you get that service for free for 30 days, because as a new client, we want to make sure you get set up right. So we're glad to do that. But once that 30 days goes by, you're going to have to pay for it if you want it. And if you don't want it, you don't have to have it, because we give you the installation instructions so you can do it yourself. And if you just happen not to want to do it, aren't very good on computers, we'll be glad to do it, but you do have to pay for the service. The other thing too is that maybe you have something wrong on your computer, or a corrupted file, or a corrupted whatever. Maybe the platform needs to be replaced and upgraded to the newer one. If you have that kind of issue that's unique to you, and again, if you need remote services, we can offer that. We do it as a service to you guys. All right, what do we got cooking for today? What do you guys want to talk about? Remember, this is your webinar. This is one for me to help you. How many people have started the new course that I just released yesterday on multiple time frames? Ooh, quite a few. All right, you like it? Excellent. Yeah, I don't expect you to finish it yet, of course, because it is kind of, you know, there's different modules you got to go through. But good feedback. Thank you. Excellent. Glad you like it. All right, for those that don't have it, Jeannie put a link down below as well. So that may be something you're interested in. All right, so I've got, what do I got? The MES here in front of you on a day trading time frame, but you know, basically we can take a look at end of day positions, whatever you want to take a look at as well. All right, Frank is saying, Ben, all right, VXX for Frank. Let's take a look at that one. Oh, where do I have that one, Frank? I got that one someplace. Here it is. VXX. I'll just type it in. All right, so Frank, what are you doing with this bad boy? Are you in it? VXX. Not in it, missed this run up. All right, well, what's interesting about this one here is that obviously it's bullish now across all platforms, but it was back here. Look at, we had a pyramid here. So that's an indication, and we had this pretty much coming into sequence there. So this would have been a nice entry way back in this area here. So you could have missed that. So the pyramids did a great job actually getting you in early. Now, when you get in early, what I always tell you, always put the stop at the bottom. So when you're getting in and you haven't taken out another new high here, just keep that stop at the bottom. So the idea here is we've got a bottom here, which we think is a big bottom. You had your first move up, your first move back. You want to keep that stop down here. And then once prices get above here, then you can start moving it up like that. Now, if you want to just trade this swing, then use the pyramids after we break this high. But when you get in early, you have to keep your stop at the bottom, because you can get either wave 2 pulling back or even B wave pulling back harshly, almost all the way to the bottom of what you think is the bottom. So you really have to keep that stop far away at this particular point. So Frank, one of the nice things you've got going for you on this trade, and everybody here, is you've got this tremendous pullback, right? And you've got a lot of green here now. And this is still green. So you could go in now, and this is your PTF is way the heck up here. But even here, you've got a PTF on above 42. So you could take a short-term scalp on that. So you could possibly get in on that. Now, what I would wait and do, you know, if you go here, you're gonna have to put your stop here. You're gonna have to put it in the pyramid, because you gotta think risk to reward. You may be able to put it back here. So get the risk to reward calculator out and make sure the high here is 2 to 1. Still technically possibly pulling back, but you do have green across the important lower time frame, so you could take that. So VXX, not a bad one actually, VXX. So you want to take a look at WAB. So here's WAB. Looks like a big head and shoulders forming. No position yet, I want to go short. So he wants to go short on this one. All right. Well, you tell me, Frank, looking at this, if you should go short yet. You tell me. Is it time? Anybody? This is a question for anybody out there. Is it time to go short? Says he sees a red PTF on the weekly. True. He's referring to this down here. Red owl on the daily. Okay. But look at this. You've got a green PTF. So that is on a shorter time frame. So that is going to happen before the red PTF on the longer time frame. More than likely. Nothing's guaranteed, but more than likely. So I would not go short here. Not until this changes either to yellow or red, and then I would reassess it to make sure all the indicators are bearish. So I would not do anything with this. Yellow is neutral, no opinion. The green on the daily, though, is indicating more highs before you're going to see more lows. That's what that means, okay? This is the advantage, once again, of using multiple time frames to look at one market. Now, if you're taking one of our courses and you have a question, feel free to ask that. There's no such thing as a bad question here. I really don't want anybody to feel like they should be embarrassed or queasy about asking a question. It's okay. Frank is still having a hard time understanding what I'm saying on the WAB. So here's the PTF, right? What's the highest price in the PTF, Frank? That's this one up here, right? In fact, that price there generated PTF, didn't it? All right, so it turned green at that price. So there's a 75% probability on the daily chart that we're going above that high. This is showing that there's a 75% probability that eventually we'll get below that. But because this is a shorter time frame in the middle, this supersedes this in terms of what's going to happen next. All right, anybody else? Fred's asking, what are your thoughts on options? Well, I have many thoughts on options. In fact, I wrote a complete course on that, Fred, on options. Options are a great tool to use. You still have to use risk control with options, and there's a variety of ways in which you can implement that. And that's what we go over in the course that I teach on that. There's different kinds of options. You know, you got the call and put options depending on the direction. There's option plays that can take advantage of markets like this that kind of go sideways between certain levels. You can bracket that market and earn money off what they call the time decay of an option. There's covered calls. There's many, many ways to use options. A lot of times, if we think, for example, in an extended trend, if we can get more juice out of that market, but it's extended and the stop is so far away that the trade size would be so small, then we can use an option for that and just buy a certain percentage of your account, and I recommend no more than 2%, and buy that as your premium. So that's the most you lose if the market falters. So there's times when options actually are better to use than buying the underlying stock. Now, on our website, okay, in the client VIP area, which probably you're a member of, there's an area where I talk about a tool that we use called Options Play. But if you want to, you can check it out there. And what that does is when you're considering using an option, you use that Options Play software tool, and it will tell you the best option for what you're trying to do. And then then you can decide what you want to do on that. And in the website there, it gives you a link to our customized page that Options Play did for us. And you can take, I think they still have a 30-day trial, and it's not an expensive tool. And then you can do an annual lease on it, and we give you 20% off if you use that page. That's why I'm trying to steer you there if you're interested in it. Again, we don't get anything from that. I just want to give that as a possible service for you. Frank's saying, okay, so you got a nice hat. Can I use your trading system when I go to Vegas? If they're trading the markets, absolutely. If you're playing blackjack, not so much. Let's take a look at USO, because certainly gas is affecting everybody today. I just did a webinar earlier this morning, and gas prices around the country vary a lot. Like in San Diego, we're paying roughly $6 a gallon. And in New York, I think they're around $4.25, $4.50. So they do vary depending upon where you live. San Diego generally has more expensive gasoline prices than other parts of the country, but it's getting up there. So if we look at this, very interesting. So we had some nice entries early on, right? No question about it. But now our stop is here. So we're still in this, and you want to be in it because this is green, this is green, this is green, this is green, and this is green. The only thing that's red is here. And you can see on the 60-minute chart, we're getting a pullback, and it may not be over yet. So this stop should hold fine. But if you're looking to get into it now, you're actually getting another opportunity to do that. And you're doing that because the market's giving us a pullback to get you in at a decent price before the next rally. And so you want to wait for this to turn green before considering a trade, and you do not want to trade against the pyramids. So you wait for either a new pyramid in the opposite direction, or you wait for prices to get above the flat part or top of that pyramid before you can consider a long trade, okay? That's, the timing issue of using multiple time frames, that type of thing. All right, let's take a look at KOLD. So higher prices are coming on oil is what I'm saying. That's crude, that's the ETF for crude. All right, so here is KOLD. So Frank What do you think is going to happen with this? Or anybody out there? Frank's asking questions, that's why I'm addressing that to Frank. So Frank, what do you think? KOLD. Knowing what you know now about the PTF, would you want to be long? No, right? No way. Also, too, not only that, but you have all these pyramids coming down. Okay, so I would not be long on this. Now, in a week or two, maybe I'll be different, but for right now, not long. We are seeing some interesting things here. Now, let's go ahead and analyze a little more. So we're seeing bullish divergence, okay, 3, 4, probably a 5. So maybe we're getting at the end of this correction. So we may be getting close to a bullish trade on this. You could put this on a watch list, okay, and look at it again, but it's not quite ready yet. So again, once again, using multiple time frame analysis allows you to look at this market and assess it. Bearish owl, but now look at this, a yellow PTF. Okay, but short term, it looks like we're going to go down one more time, and then this should turn yellow. So be it. This is yellow, and we're heading down a little bit, and it's red up here. So if I want to go long, I want this no longer to be red. This has got to be yellow or green. And this has got to be green. This has got to be green. And if I want to get in early, I might get in when this is still slightly red. Okay. So that's how I analyze a market really quickly. You know, once you've mastered your tools, you literally can look at any market and in 20 seconds know if you should be long, short, or out of the market. And that's because all the rules are up in my head because I've used it so much. Now, when I first started, I had to write everything down and like a checklist and go through stuff, and that's fine. That's how you learn, okay, what you're doing. And also too, then the more and more times you do that, the more and more times you have those memorized, and it becomes a flow. You just look. No, the yellow does not mean it's going to turn green next, because it could go red again, Frank. Could go red again. So if this is looking at the momentum at the time at every price bar. And so a lot of times what happens if the momentum increases, like here, look, this is a perfect example. Let's just open up this chart over here. See, it went yellow here. And then it went red again. And that's because it was red based on this low here. So the movement down here had so much momentum that it turned the PTF red. And the PTF has certain formulas in it that take a look at that momentum and the direction and a couple of other things. And when it is severe, like it was here to the downside, then it turns red. And then, even though it came up here, it doesn't tell you how long it's going to take before it goes back down. It just tells you that it eventually will go back down. So you wouldn't want to, this is a weekly chart, you wouldn't want to do necessarily a long, super long-term buy on this when it's red, because eventually it will end. So if you're going to trade this leg up, make sure you get out when it dissipates. But then it turned yellow here because it actually went below here, and the momentum on the first few price bars when it breached the low was not strong enough to keep it red. But then the momentum returned and turned it red again and made this low here the low. And then it came up, and then momentum returned to the negative side again and took it out, but it wasn't strong enough to keep it red, so it turned it yellow. So whenever it's red or green, look at the highest price bar that caused it, or the lowest, and that's your target zone on that time frame for the next movement when it happens. I'm glad you asked the question because that's what this is for here, okay? That's exactly what the client support webinars are for, to answer questions and things like that. So I'm thrilled that you asked that because I'm sure other people have the same question. All right. Well, I think I've gone through all the questions. Let me just check. Got a lot of people here today, and I appreciate everybody being here because it makes it for a very lively session. All right, good. I think that's it. So we'll be back here next Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, and that's the purpose of client support. Bring your questions. If you have a question during the week or something you need help on navigating the platform, how to bring up something that you can't figure out, definitely come here with it and we'll help you. I'll help you with it. A lot of the platforms have their own help section, support section. So if you go to their website, they usually have videos and tutorials on how to get around their platforms and use it. What we do when you first buy software from us, he goes on and installs it if you need him to do that, and that's free. So we make sure you get set up properly with the software. Then it's just a matter of learning how to use that platform. So it's pretty cool. All right, so that's it. I'll see you back here next week. Thanks everybody for coming.
Serving traders worldwide since 1998, TradersCoach.com provides educational services for traders and investors alike. We've developed trading software to help traders of every level improve their skills. Our site is dedicated to providing you with all the resources, software, and educational material you need to achieve your trading goals. It is because of our years of experience, attention to detail, and our exceptional customer service that TradersCoach.com is the right choice for you. Call us today.